You sit down and you start petting one of them, and within about 4 seconds, the other one is there, shoving in, climbing over, wedging a head under your hand, pushing the first one's face out of the way, demanding that the attention come here instead. 2 animals, 1 lap, and a small silent war over who gets you. Or maybe you only have 1 pet, and you made the mistake of greeting someone else's dog on a walk, scratching its ears, being friendly, and your own dog went stiff and pushed between you and looked up at you like you had betrayed it. Which, in a way, to it, you had. So here's the question tonight. Do animals envy each other? Do they feel that hot little pang when someone else gets the thing they wanted? The food, the attention, the better deal? Do they get jealous? Or are we just dressing up plain old competition in human feelings, seeing envy where there's really nothing but 2 creatures grabbing for the same resource? Because the answer, it turns out, has been caught on camera in laboratories in ways that are almost uncomfortable to watch because they look so familiar, so human. And by the time we're done, this one is going to say something pointed about you and about a feeling you've probably been ashamed of and shouldn't be, or at least not for the reason you think. By the end of this, I'm going to tell you about an experiment where 2 monkeys did the exact same job and one got a grape and the other got a cucumber. And what the cucumber monkey did next is one of the most human things ever recorded in an animal. And about a dog that flew into a jealous rage at a stuffed toy. But the deepest question we're building toward is this. Is envy a petty, shameful flaw, a thing to be quietly disgusted with yourself for feeling? Or is it an ancient signal, doing a real job, that every social creature carries? And are we, once again, the only animal that takes a clean, useful feeling and slowly turns it into poison? Stay with me, because this one is hiding a small piece of wisdom you can actually use. First, let's split the feeling in 2, because what we lump together as envy is really 2 different things, and animals show us both. There's jealousy, which is triangular, about a relationship. It's the feeling that someone is taking attention or affection that should be yours. My person is petting that other dog. That's jealousy. And then there's envy, which is more direct, about a thing. It's wanting what someone else has. They got the better treat and I didn't. That's envy. Jealousy guards a bond against a rival. Envy aches over a gap between you and someone else. And remarkably, animals seem to have primordial versions of both. Let's take them one at a time. Start with jealousy, because there's a clever study that pins it down. Researchers had dog owners do something a little cruel. They had them lavish warm attention, petting and sweet talk on a realistic stuffed dog, a fake one, right in front of their real dog. And then, for comparison, they had the owners give that same gushing attention to non-social objects, a plastic bucket, a children's book. And they watched what the real dogs did. And the dogs got jealous, specifically, pointedly jealous of the fake dog. They pushed in between the owner and the toy. They pawed at their person. Some of them snapped at the stuffed rival. They worked to break up the interaction and get the attention back onto themselves. And crucially, they did this far more for the fake dog than for the bucket or the book. They weren't just bored or attention-seeking in general, they were reacting to a rival. To another dog getting the love that was supposed to be theirs. What that study suggested is that jealousy doesn't require some complex, sophisticated, self-reflective human mind. It can run on something much older and simpler, a basic, primordial jealousy that fires whenever a valued bond seems to be slipping toward a rival. Your dog wedging between you and another dog isn't being petty or badly behaved, it's running an ancient program that says, that bond is mine, that attention is mine, and I am not going to stand here and watch someone else take it. Now the other flavor, envy, the ache over the gap, and the experiment I promised, which is the most famous one in this whole field for a reason. Researchers worked with capuchin monkeys, and they set up 2 of them side by side, where each could see the other, and they had each monkey do a simple little task, hand over a small rock and get a reward for it. And at first, both monkeys got a piece of cucumber, and that was fine. Cucumber is acceptable. The monkey did the task, took the cucumber, ate it, perfectly content, over and over. No complaints. And then the researchers changed one thing. They started giving the other monkey a grape. A grape is a treasure, far better than cucumber. Same task, same effort, but now one monkey is getting paid in grapes and the other is still getting cucumber. And the cucumber monkey notices immediately. It does the task, gets its piece of cucumber, and then it looks over, sees the grape in the other one's hand, and something in it just breaks. It tests the cucumber again, takes it, and then hurls it back at the researcher. It rattles the cage, it reaches out and slaps the surface. It is, by any honest description, outraged. It was completely happy with cucumber 60 seconds ago. Nothing about the cucumber changed. What changed is that it saw someone else get something better for the same work, and that was unbearable. Read what that actually means because it's profound. The cucumber monkey's feeling is not about the cucumber. It's not hunger. It's relative. It's comparative. The monkey is measuring its own situation against its neighbors and feeling the gap between them and protesting it. That is the engine of envy laid bare. Not just wanting a thing, but wanting it because someone else has it and feeling wronged by the difference. And dogs show a version of this too. Have two dogs do a trick, reward one and not the other for the same trick, and the unrewarded dog will often stop cooperating, stop offering the behavior, essentially going on strike against the unfairness. They notice, they compare, they feel the gap. And this comparing runs deep and runs early. Think about young animals competing for a parent. The chicks in a nest shoving and out begging each other for the food the parent brings. The puppies climbing over each other for the best spot to nurse. For a young animal, the parent's care is limited and every scrap that goes to a sibling is a scrap that didn't go to you. And that competition is not trivial, it's survival. Sibling rivalry, that raw scramble for a caregiver's attention and resources, is one of the oldest envies there is, written into creatures long before there were monkeys throwing cucumbers. The drive to watch what others are getting and to mind when they're getting more is ancient bedrock. So why? Why would evolution build a feeling that, on its face, just seems to make everyone miserable? And the answer, as always on this channel, is that it has a job. Two jobs actually, one for each flavor. Jealousy guards your valuable bonds and investments against rivals. Think about what's at stake. A mate is an enormous reproductive investment, and a rival who steals that mate's attention can cost you everything. So animals that guarded their mates against rivals left more descendants than the ones who didn't notice or didn't care. A parent's care is survival itself, and a sibling who monopolizes it is a direct threat. So the young animal that competed for attention got fed, and the one that sat back politely sometimes starved. Jealousy is a guard dog for the relationships you cannot afford to lose. It fires precisely when something precious, a bond, an investment, an ally, seems to be drifting towards someone else, and it motivates you to do something about it before it's gone. And envy, the inequity thing, has an even subtler job. It's the bookkeeping of fairness, and it protects you from being exploited. Imagine you're a social animal who cooperates with others, hunts with them, shares with them, works alongside them. If you couldn't tell when you were getting a worse deal than everyone else, you'd be the perfect sucker. You'd keep doing the work while others took the rewards, forever, and never push back. But a creature that monitors fairness, that feels the sting when it's getting cucumber while the others get grapes, will protest, will withdraw, will refuse to keep cooperating with a partner who hogs everything. That monkey throwing the cucumber isn't being a baby, it's enforcing fairness. It's defending itself from being the one who always gets the short end. Caring about the gap is what keeps a cooperative creature from being endlessly taken advantage of. Far from a petty flaw, envy is a survival-grade fairness detector. So no, envy and jealousy are not human inventions, and they are not signs that something is wrong with an animal or with you. They are ancient, useful, deeply built-in tools for guarding what matters and protecting yourself from being cheated. Now, I have to be honest about the edge of what we know, the way this series always tries to be. We can measure the jealous behavior, the pushing in, the snapping at the rival. We can measure the inequity aversion, the refused cucumber, the dog on strike. What we cannot confirm is whether animals feel the full, elaborate human version of envy. The part where you don't just notice the gap and protest it, but ruminate on it. Resent the other for hours, for days. Tell yourself a long, bitter story about why they have it and you don't. Covet. Compare your entire life against theirs and find yours wanting. That whole churning, self-tormenting spiral, we can't prove an animal experiences that. What the science shows is the primordial core, the basic, ancient engine of the feeling, the noticing and the protesting and the guarding. Not necessarily our elaborate, miserable, self-inflicted version of it. And that distinction, it turns out, is the whole point. Because here's the turn. and it holds up a mirror, and you might not love what you see at first. We are taught that envy is a sin, a shameful, corrosive flaw, something to feel disgusted with ourselves for, to hide, to deny. But look again at what the animals actually do with it. The cucumber monkey feels the gap, throws the cucumber, protests loudly, and then it's over. It moves on. The feeling did its job, fired its signal, registered its complaint, and then it was done. The animal used the feeling cleanly, as a pointer and a protest, and then let it go. And what do we do with the exact same ancient signal? We don't throw the cucumber and move on, we marinate in it. We ruminate for days. We let it curdle into resentment. We scroll through someone's carefully curated life for an hour and let it sour our whole evening. We take our own ordinary, messy insides and compare them to everyone else's polished, edited outsides, and we torture ourselves over a gap that is very often not even real. The monkey throws the cucumber and goes back to its day. We carry the cucumber around for a week, taking bites out of it to remind ourselves how bitter it is. Once again, we are the animal that takes a clean, functional feeling and weaponizes it against itself. The envy was never the problem. The rumination is. The animal feels it and releases it. We feel it and build a prison out of it. So what's the wisdom hiding in here? The thing you can actually use? It's this. Envy, heard correctly, is information. It is not a sin to be crushed, it is a signal to be read. Because here's the simple truth underneath it. You only ever envy what you actually want. Envy is a finger pointing straight at your real desires, the things you may have been pretending you don't care about. Feel a pang when someone else gets the thing? That pang just told you something true about what you want for your own life. And the inequity kind of envy, the cucumber kind, is pointing at something too, at genuine unfairness. At the times when you really are getting the worst deal and it's worth protesting. Sometimes the cucumber is an injustice that deserves to be thrown. The animals use the feeling as a pointer and a protest, and then they put it down. That's the whole lesson. Not don't feel envy. Feel it, read what it's telling you about what you want and what's unfair, and then set it down, like the monkey does, and go back to your life. And there's a warmer thing here too, about the jealousy, the relationship kind, and it's almost sweet once you see it. When your pet shoves between you and a rival, jealous for your attention, that is not bad behavior to be annoyed at. It is the oldest compliment there is. Think about it. Jealousy only fires over something valuable. Your pet getting jealous over you is proof that you matter to it, that the bond is precious to it, that the thought of losing even a moment of your attention to someone else registers as a real loss worth fighting. A creature that didn't care about you wouldn't bother. The jealousy is the measure of the love. So those two animals squabbling over your lap, that dog wedging itself between you and the friendly stranger, underneath the little war is something tender. They are telling you, in the only language they have, that you are worth competing for, that your attention is treasure, that you are not something they are willing to lose quietly. And maybe the gentlest thing the animals teach us about this whole tangled feeling is the timing of it. Feel the gap if you feel it. Let it point you toward what you love and what's unfair. And then, the part we always forget, set it down and turn back to what's actually in front of you. Because here's the thing the cucumber monkey understood better than we do. While it was busy being outraged about the grape, it was missing the cucumber it actually had. And the grape was never really the point anyway. The point, for the two animals fighting over your lap, was never about beating each other. It was about the lap, the warmth, the company, the ordinary good evening that was already happening, that envy, left to fester, will cause you to miss entirely. Isn't it strange, and isn't it humbling, how much comparing and wanting and guarding goes on in the animal world, with none of the shame we pile onto it? The dog shoves in to protect the bond. The monkey throws the cucumber to protest the unfairness. The chick outbegs its siblings for one more scrap of survival. It's the same machinery we followed all season, into every quiet room. The mind that feels watched in the dark, that loses itself in a doorway, that raises fur it no longer has, that keeps half awake in a strange bed, that holds its missing people, that keeps watch over a failing body, that chooses a favorite, that grieves what it loved, that dreams the old wild fields, that feels the turning of the day, that forgives the bonds worth keeping. And here again an ancient program, the fairness detector and the bond guard. The envy and the jealousy that are older than any of our names for them. running quietly in the creatures who fight, just a little, over the warmth of our hands. So do animals envy each other? They do, in the old, clean, primordial way. They feel the gap, they guard the bond, they protest the unfairness, and then, mostly, they get on with it. And the two of them fighting over your lap aren't showing you something ugly. They're showing you that you're treasure, and reminding you, if you listen, that the feeling was only ever meant to point you somewhere and then let you go. I see what you give the other one. Of course I see it. I want it to be mine, all of it. Your hand, your voice, your warm attention, every bit. I won't pretend I don't. But watch what I do with it. I push in, I make my case, I claim my place against your leg, and then, the moment your hand comes to rest on me, it's gone. The wanting, the comparing, all of it, gone. Because I have what I was actually after. I have you. I never really wanted the grape. I wanted this.
And it was here the whole time, while I was busy minding the other one's hand.